We're going to begin this sequence lying down in Supta Baddha Konasana. Ideally, you'll have a bolster to support your spine, and in most cases it is comfortable to have a blanket under your head, which you can do if that suits you. So placing that on your mat, you're going to turn to face away from the bolster, and I generally recommend leaving a little bit of space between you and the bolster, and that way it won't be pushing directly under your lower back, and it'll be more support for your middle and upper back. The legs will be in Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together and knees open. Support with your hands and slowly lay yourself down and turning the palms open by your sides. Allowing the back of the neck to be long and also the tailbone to lengthen toward the heels. And the thighs are heavy, naturally descending down. And we'll stay for a few breaths here. You can close your eyes. Relax the skin between your eyebrows, release the back teeth, softening the expression across your face. And breathing both in and out of your nose. Sternum is broad, shoulders resting away. Now to move on from this position, turn your palms down, softly open your eyes. You can support the legs if you need to with your hands, draw your knees together. And pushing into the support of the floor, you're going to lift your head, chin to chest, look forward, and then press into the hands and come up to a seated position. From here, you're going to clear your mat and move your props aside. So shifting your bolster away from you. And if you'd like to, you can use a blanket underneath the head to support and subtly elevate the head for the next position. It's not essential, however, and I highly recommend using some form of strap or belt. We're going to come to lie down. So laying on the back, finding that that support is under the head, not so much under your neck, if you're using it, and that you've got clear space off to the sides. Taking the belt and wrapping it around the ball of the right foot and extending your right leg up to the sky. From there, you're going to extend your left leg down to the floor. Now, this is a transitional pose, this first stage, Supta Padangusthasana. Don't over-exaggerate the hamstring stretch, just work at a fairly comfortable level. Try to keep the legs as straight as you can. And if anything, emphasize more the leg that's on the floor, as if you're standing on it. Press the left inner thigh down. Tailbone lengthening toward left heel. And then taking hold of both ends of your strap in your right hand, and you're going to extend the left arm out to shoulder level. Keeping contact of the left hip and left ribs on the floor as best as you can. Really slowly open your right leg out to the right. So keep as stable as you can by pressing down through the left side of the body. This is definitely not about getting the foot to the floor. If it feels really intense for you, you can take a bolster underneath the right leg to help support. But really, you're trying to not tip to the right and instead stay level and grounded down on the left side. The front of the pelvis is broad. Slowly return back to center. And then release to change sides. Wrap the belt around the ball of the left foot and extending the left leg up. Extending your right leg down. Flex both feet. Press and reach through your inner heels. Keep tailbone and back of the neck long. Again, bring more emphasis into the right leg, the leg on the floor. Press the right thigh down. To be more specific, press your right inner thigh down. Take both ends of the belt into your left hand and extend right arm out to the right. Keeping the right leg firm and contact of right ribs and hip. Very slowly open your leg to the left. Steady the weight. Move really slow to maintain control. Re-engage the right leg. Firm it. Reach through both inner heels. Broaden the front of your pelvis, so keep the left side of your pelvis open, spread. Ground the right ribs, right hip. Keeping the breath relaxed. And then very slowly, remaining steady, come back to center, take your time. And once you've come all the way back up to center, then release. You can pop your belt to the side and bend both knees, bring your feet flat to the floor. And from here, we're going to roll to the side and find our way up to standing. Standing into Tadasana in the center of your mat. We're going to place the feet approximately hip width apart. And to be more specific, I would recommend setting your heels underneath the sitting bones. And this will be the most stable but spacious position for you. We're going to move through a sequence of arm positions, Hasta Vinyasa, moving with the breath. So standing in Tadasana with your arms by your side, and let your eyes become still and steady, breathing in and out of your nose. To begin, exhale all residual breath, and we'll begin. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Interlock the fingers at the top of your breath. As you exhale, cup the hands at the base of the skull, elbows wide, and a slight tuck of the chin. Inhale, press the palms up. This time, exhale, bring your hands onto your shoulder blades. Elbows stay in nice and cozy by the sides of the face. Stay here for the inhalation. Staying for the exhalation. Interlace the fingers, inhale, palms to the sky. As you exhale, bend the knees, circle the arms out and around, finding a nice shoulder rotation and gazing forward to the palms. Reverse your movement, inhale, stretch the legs, extending the arms to the sky. And then exhale the arms forward and out to the sides at shoulder level, completing the exhale. Reverse inhale, catch the hands in front of the chest. Deep breath in, filling the lungs with fresh breath. And then exhale, slowly floating the arms down by your sides. Inhale the arms to shoulder level this time. On your exhalation, sweep the hands behind the back into a reverse prayer position. If that's too strong, catch the elbows with your hands. Inhale, gaze up, lift the chest, take a subtle back bend. Exhale, come back to center and bring your chin all the way down, keeping the elbows and the shoulders back. Let's repeat. Inhale, gazing up, lift the sternum, open the collarbone. Exhale, gently returning back to center, chin descending all the way down. Inhale, lift your gaze slightly. Exhale, release the arms. Inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Deep breath, interlock the fingers. As you exhale, take a side bend to the right and press the hips out to the left. Keep the legs strong. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale over to the other side. Firm the thighs. Inhale back to center, dropping the tailbone. And slowly exhale the arms down, following the breath. From here, we're going to step the feet open wide and take some more static standing postures. So extending the arms out to shoulder level, prepare by turning the toes to the right, right foot out, left foot in. Open the left side of your pelvis and prepare for Trikonasana, triangle pose. 2 straight legs. Reach directly over your right leg. Take the hand down for support at whatever level you need. Left arm to the sky, look up to the top hand. Strongly direct your tailbone to the left heel, turning the left side of your waist back. Think of containing the right sitting bone. Gripping the legs, inhale, rise back up. And we'll change sides. Right foot in, left foot out. Open the right side of your pelvis. 2 straight legs. Extend directly over your left leg. Take the hand down for support, right arm up. So legs need to be really engaged and strong to maintain a sense of balance and steadiness. You can even concentrate on gluing your left big toe into the mat, directing the tailbone to the right heel. Inhaling back up. Turn your left foot in, right toes out. Virabhadrasana 2, again opening the pelvis. Inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee and turn your gaze to the right hand. But reach to your left hand. Pelvis stays really spread, tailbone anchors down or turns down, chest broad. Inhale, release back to center, change the direction of the feet. Again, resetting, opening the right side of the pelvis, tailbone down. Inhale. And then exhale, bend your left knee and turn to look to the left hand, reaching to your right hand. Keep the arms lifted and extending, but relax the shoulders. Sitting bones anchoring down, turning down. Inhale back to center. Change directions. Right toes out, left toes in. Coming into a modified Parsvakonasana. Inhale. Bend your right knee, exhale. Elbow comes to rest on the thigh. And taking the top arm straight up or up and over the head, whatever suits you. Contain the right sitting bone so the inner thigh gets lengthened, firming the left thigh. Opening the waist, opening the chest. Inhale back up. Changing sides. Setting the feet, opening the torso. Inhale here. Exhale, bend the left knee Elbow comes to rest, right arm straight up or up and over the head, creating a nice long line from foot to fingers. Contain the left sitting bone, so the inner thigh and the groin is becoming more and more open. Rolling the right side of the waist back. Right leg firm, inhale, coming up. As you exhale, turn the left foot in, hands on the waist, and gently heel toe your feet back together. And come back to Tadasana. For the next pose, you might like to grab yourself a block. If you've got fairly open hamstrings, it probably won't be essential, but if the hamstrings are a little bit tight, you might find it's a good support for you. So you can use your block underneath your hand for support to essentially bring the floor up to you. We're doing a pose called Ardha Chandrasana, or half moon position. So I'll talk you through it and you can join me. We're going to start by putting the left hand on the hip. Check the right toes are pointing straight out to the right side. You're going to bend the right knee and reach the right hand down onto the floor or onto a block. Start to transfer your weight into the hand and foot and lift the left leg to the sky. Now you can look at the floor for stability, it will help your balance, but spin the pelvis open. Flex your left foot really strongly. Bring a lot of power into that top leg. It'll keep you steady. Open the right side of the groin. Lift your left inner thigh. And if you're finding some balance, you might like to extend your top arm. But really concentrate on all the strength and activation through your legs. A strong foundation. To release, put your left hand back on your hip. Bend your standing leg. Placing the top foot down carefully and coming up. Let's go around to the other side. So setting left toes out, right hand on the hip, just to take it out of the equation initially. And we want to make sure that standing foot doesn't turn in or change. It's your foundation. So from here, you're going to reach left hand down to the floor or onto your block again. Start to shift the weight forward into your left foot and hand and float the right leg up to the sky. Flexing the right foot quite strongly. The more power in that top leg, the more stability you will find. Now, even though you're looking down, you're turning the pelvis and chest open. Think of opening the left side of the groin and lifting the right inner thigh. If you find stability, extending the top arm straight up to the sky, reaching. Again, really strong from the ground up. Firm your standing leg. To release, right hand to the hip, bend your standing leg, float the top foot down, and come on up. Bring your feet back together, find Tadasana. Now, step your feet open wide. You might like to pop your hands on your hips just for stability. Turn your right foot out and your left foot in. However, this time we're going to continue to rotate all the way around to the side. You're looking for quite a long stance or a long distance between your feet. Rolling your left hip forward. As you can see, the back foot is turned in quite a lot, and this will enable you to be able to roll that hip in as well. So the placement of your back foot has a relationship to that hip. So preparing to come into Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, bend the front knee as if you're coming into a lunge. Lift the pubic bone slightly. And really focus on keeping strong through your back leg. Press the calf muscle down to the heel. And then finally reach both arms up to the sky. Lengthen the sides of your waist. Think of cinching the waist. Arms, fingertips engaged. Again, re-engage the back leg. Press the inner thigh backwards. Hands to the waist. Straighten the front leg. And carefully pivot around to center. We'll go all the way around to the other side. Left toes out, right toes in. You might need to pick up the back foot and reset it. You're not standing on a tightrope, so find something stable. Remember, the position of your back foot will dictate your capacity to roll that back hip forward or inward. Gazing to the side, firm the legs. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, bend your front knee. You can always lengthen your position if you need to, separating the feet. Keep rolling the right hip forward or in. Drive the back calf muscle down toward the heel. And then as you're ready, lift the abdomen and pubic bone up and lift the arms up. Give the arms and fingers energy and extension, as if you're trying to create more space for your spine, more space within the torso. Hands back to the waist, straighten the front leg, and pivot around to center. Keeping the feet wide, let's prepare for a forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Hands can stay on the hip to start. And you're going to give the abdomen and the pubic bone a little lift so the lower back has traction and length. Elbows back. Inhale, lift the chest, gaze up. Exhale, start to slowly fold forward. Release the fingertips to the floor. Now, even if you're very flexible, I want to encourage you to stay with a concave spine rather than folding to your fullest capacity. Arms are straight. And there's a real feeling that the abdomen and chest are extending forward. So even though you're in a forward bend, the feeling is that you're almost trying to invite a back bend into the position. Look for that spaciousness for your abdomen and your chest. Collarbones broad, shoulder blades retract. Inner thighs lift, keep the legs charging. Firm the top of the thighs. The legs are your foundation, keep them strong. Continue to extend through your chest as if there were eyes on your chest and they were looking forward. Really important to keep the strength in your legs to exit this position. Legs firm, hands to the waist, elbows back, and lifting up. Soften the knees. Take your time, heel toe your feet back together. Now, a really similar position, you're going to stand with your feet under the sitting bones, how we started, standing. And this is the most stable position, and it gives you a sense of space through your pelvis. We'll come into another forward bend. Hands on the waist. You're going to inhale, subtly lift the chest, and then exhale, start to fold forward, releasing the fingertips. Now, if the floor feels a long way away, I highly recommend popping your hands on some support, maybe a couple of blocks or a bolster. And the shape of the spine is like the previous pose. You're not looking for your deepest forward bend necessarily. You're really trying to extend the chest and create this concavity of the spine to maintain length through the front of the body. The back muscles are switched on and they are strengthening, they're contracting. The shoulder blades are retracting, so the collarbones keep open wide. And to whatever degree you can manage, give the top of your thighs a little press back. Feel the inner legs lift. Keep your toes relaxed. So maintaining a sense of space in this position is called Ardha Uttanasana. And from here we're going to transition into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So you can take a little bend in the knees, walk your hands forward and step your feet backwards to find the position. Hands are about shoulder width apart and feet are about hip width apart. If it's more comfortable, you can take them a little bit wider. Let the neck relax Upper arms hug in, armpits narrow, finger knuckles press, feet relaxed, eyes steady, and ideally still breathing through your nose. See if you can lift and press the upper inner thighs slightly and reach down through the inner heels. From this position, very delicately lower your knees onto the floor. Open them wide, big toes touching, and we're going to come back into a variation of child's pose. Buttocks to heels, knees are wide enough to give the abdomen space, and only if it's accessible, head to the floor, but it's not essential. If the head doesn't comfortably touch, you can always support the head with a prop, or you can keep it floating, whatever you prefer. Arms long, and there's still that real sense of space for the abdomen, and chest is reaching forward, softening between your shoulder blades. We'll take a few breaths here. Begin to find your way back to downward facing dog. Rising up to your hands and knees. Tuck your toes and lifting the knees up. Allow your head to release. Allow the back of the neck to be long. Narrowing the armpits. Drive the finger knuckles down. Sternum is pressing through toward the toes. Calf muscles press to the heels, and the tops of the thigh bones press back. And then again, slowly release the knees down to the floor. We're going to come to seated for a series of seated postures. I would recommend grabbing a blanket for the next position to sit on. You're going to fold the blanket into what we call a threefold, which is basically like folding a brochure or a pamphlet. So taking the blanket, folding that into your desired position, and you're going to pop that at one end of your mat to sit on. We're coming into Janu Shavasana. You're going to extend your left leg forward and bring the right leg back up and in. And because of this, we're going to slightly tweak the blanket. Left edge forward, right edge backwards. So basically the same as your legs. Grabbing a belt, wrap the belt around the ball of your left foot. We're going to maintain the qualities of what we would say is urdhva mukha, or upward facing. So we're not going to go down and compress the front body or shorten the front body. We're going to maintain a real sense of lift. Holding onto each end of the strap. Subtle twist as you bring your right chest towards left big toe. Firm the left leg as if you were standing on it. And maybe this is strong enough for you, and if so, you can definitely stay here. If you find you've got a little bit more range to work with, you can walk your hands down your strap, maybe even hold the edges of the feet, the sides of the feet. However, really commit to maintaining a genuine sense of extension and length through the front of your body. So there should be no compression of the abdominal region. Sternum is lifted, shoulder blades retract, sides of the neck long. Keep the right side of the waist and chest coming forward with you so that the shoulders are equally distant from the floor. And then gently release. Remove the belt, support your bent leg and extend it out, and we'll just change sides. You'll need to swivel your blanket around, right corner forward. Extend your right leg, bring the left foot up to the inner thigh, wrapping the belt around the ball of the foot. If you're experiencing any discomfort in the knees in this position, you can always prop the knees with a blanket or a block as well. Sitting up tall through the spine, find that real sense of space. Turn the left ribs and chest toward your right big toe. Firm your right leg as if you were standing on it. Stay here if it's enough for you. Otherwise, to your degree, walk your hands down the belt. Commit to that extension through the front body, so lift up. Once you've got your position, lift up. Lift the sternum, drop the shoulders a little. Retract the shoulder blades. Feel the back ribs are contained. The back of the rib cage is contained and coming in toward the chest wall. Right leg firm. Another breath here. And then slowly release, coming up. Remove the belt, support the knee, and extend your leg. Pop your strap aside. Come forward off your blanket, and you're going to readjust it so it is in the center back of your mat. And again, taking a seat on the blanket, go ahead and grab yourself a block and pop that block in front of you as a tool which you'll use in a moment. Extend your legs out to the side into Upavishta Konasana and sit right on the front edge of your blanket. Now begin by just supporting your weight with your hands. Press the thighs, engage your legs, and really engage through your feet as well. Spread the skin on the soles of your feet. Press through your inner heels. If you find your legs hyperextend, think of pressing the thighs and the heels down at the same time. Maintain the lift of the chest and the sides of your waist. Keep the legs really strong. Pop your hands onto your block. And in your own time, very slowly start to slide that block out in front of you. As we did previously, we want to emphasize an upward extension rather than a downward fold or a collapse. So lengthen the front body. Find that sense of concaving through the chest and spine, keeping the back of the rib cage contained or moving forward to the chest wall. Collarbone should feel really spacious and the shoulders relaxed. Of course, you can go as deep as appropriate in your body, but it's not about, getting your head to the floor by any means. We're looking for depth and extension whilst maintaining as much space as possible. Firm the legs, reach through the heels. We'll stay for another breath or two. So anchoring through the pelvis and thighs. You're going to draw the block back in as you start to sit all the way back up onto your center. Take the weight back as you catch hold of your knees and gently draw the legs in. And then coming forward off the support for a moment, you're going to pop your block aside. For the next pose, you can still use your three-fold blanket. If the hips are tight or you have a knee injury, you might prefer sitting higher on a bolster, in which case you'll sit on the very end of a bolster. But we're going to readjust. So whatever you choose to sit on, you want to sit to the edge. So move yourself to the right so that it's your left sitting bone only that's supported. Thigh bones and knees point straight ahead. We're coming into Bharadvajasana, it's a twist. If possible, right foot on the left arch, but it's not essential. Wrap the left arm behind your back. Right hand comes across the body. Inhale the chest up. Exhale, turn, and take your gaze past the back shoulder. You can really drop some weight down onto the right hip, Anchor it down and keep the thighs heavy and descending. Inhale. Exhale, look forward and release your twist, and we'll go over to the other side. So swivel the legs, but you'll also need to shift to the other side of your support. Now your right sitting bone will be supported, but your left sitting bone will be free of anything. Knees and thighs point forward. If possible, without strain, you're going to put your left foot on the arch of the right foot. Again, not essential. Wrap the right arm behind your back. Left arm comes across the body. Anchor that left hip and sitting bone. Inhale, lift your chest up. Exhale, gently turning. Involve the head and the neck in the twist. So following that shoulder. Drop both shoulder blades, lift the sides of the chest, the sides of the heart up. Keep the left sitting bone heavy. Thighs heavy. Inhale. Exhale, turn the gaze forward, slowly unravel out of your twist, and we'll release. Bring the legs out in front of you and come off your blanket. You can clear your blanket aside. And we're going to come to face lengthways on the mat. The knees are bent. Pop your feet flat on the floor. Hands behind you. And although it's tempting to potentially turn the fingers back, I highly recommend you turn them forward the same direction as your toes, and fingers really, really spread. This pose is a modification of Purvottanasana. So it is a strong one in the chest and shoulders. We're building a deep opening, but also a deep strengthening. Gaze forward, lift the chest, wrap your shoulder blades underneath you, and let the chin then descend down toward the chest. Inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lift the pelvis up as high as you can. You don't need to lift the chin. So gaze forward and maybe observe where in your body there's a little bit of a weakness or the body is releasing. Really lift up through the tailbone and lift through your upper back. So back of the rib cage is lifted. Smooth cycles of breath. Keep the face relaxed. One more inhalation. Exhale very delicately. Lower yourself all the way back down. And releasing the weight forward off the hands. From here, we're going to lay down now. So you'll need to grab your belt once again. And you'll also need to grab your block. Now, as you come to lie down, the knees will be bent and the feet flat. So if you can wrap your belt around the ankles to start, you can always adjust this when we come down, and have your block right next to you to grab. Lying carefully down onto your back. Walk the heels in so they're fairly close to the buttocks. But the feet stay wide and parallel. So be mindful that you might unintentionally close the feet in. Keep them as they are, as if they were stuck in cement. Take your block for a moment. At the medium or tall height, you're going to slide it underneath your pelvis. So you can choose whatever level is appropriate for you. If you're comfortable with the tall level, flip the block all the way up, but really ensure that the block is underneath the tailbone and the sacrum in the center of your pelvis. It is not under your lower back. Take a hold of the belt with your hands. Again, reset the feet if you need to. Make sure your head remains centered the entire time. Wrapping the biceps up to the ceiling, you're going to start to push into your feet. Lift the hips up as high as you can off your block. Lift the upper back. Maybe tuck the shoulders underneath you a little more. Remember, don't let the feet change. Lift the tailbone to the sky. Lengthen the top of the thighs. Sternum broad. Deep breaths. Ground the inner heels and the base of the big toes. Last breath, inhale. As you exhale, carefully place the hips back onto your block. Relax the grip of the hands. Push into the feet, lift the pelvis, reach under for your block, place it aside, slowly lower down. Take a moment to let the knees rest on each other. And then from this position, we're going to prepare to set up for Viparita Karani. So you're going to remove your belt aside. You will need to come to seated. So roll to one side and press yourself up. You can do Viparita Karani in the center of the room by putting a bolster under your hips to elevate the pelvis, which will create more of a sense of effortlessness and ease in the pose. However, I'm going to take myself over to the wall, which I highly recommend you do if you have access to a clear space. And you don't necessarily need anything but yourself. So in which case, you're going to take yourself over to the wall, and you will need to start facing the side and be as close to the wall as you can. And it's kind of like a little barrel roll. You're going to roll underneath yourself, scoot the buttocks up to the wall to extend your legs. And then as you extend your legs up the wall, set them around hip width apart. If you need support for your head, you can slide a blanket under the head. And placing the hands and arms however you like, by your side, on your belly, even catching your elbows over your head if you like that extension through the side body. Now we'll only be here for a short while. However, I highly recommend that you can sustain this position for anywhere up to 5 or 10 minutes. Reversing the pull of gravity on your legs. We are redirecting circulation, sending fresh oxygenated blood in throughout the torso, circulating through the reproductive system, the heart, the brain. Try to be as relaxed and as passive as you can be. Abdomen softening. Breath is calm and relaxed. Again, please feel free to stay here for as long as you like. And when you're ready to exit, let the knees drop down toward your chest. If you happen to be in the middle of a room with a bolster underneath you, let your feet land on the floor. And then remove the bolster. And then very slowly, wherever you are, you're going to roll off to one side and push down into the floor. Slowly lift to a seated position. Now, if you are familiar with the more advanced inversion of shoulder stand, perhaps on a chair or with various support, now would be a really nice time to integrate that. But I only recommend it if you are really confident in the pose and you have been taught the posture under the guidance directly of a teacher. Otherwise, we will now move into shavasana, our final resting pose. For shavasana, I have set myself up a bolster and blanket as we started this practice, which you might like to do just to keep the torso elevated, depending on how you're feeling and at what stage of your pregnancy you are at. You're most welcome to lie flat on the floor, maybe just with a blanket underneath the head, but make sure you'll be warm and comfortable. So starting to lie down in your chosen position and finding that extension through the back of the neck. So making whatever final adjustments you need, turning the biceps and the palms to the sky and closing the eyes. Relax the skin between the eyebrows, release the back teeth, the tongue, drop the shoulders. Let the fingertips curl to their natural position. And allow the entire body, the weight of the body to descend down. The breath is very restful and subtle. Breathing gently in and out through the nose. Please feel free to remain here for as long as you like. When you're ready, let the hands fold in to rest upon your abdomen, keeping the eyes closed. Softly start to bend both of your knees. Rolling off to the side, find your way up to a seated position, sitting however is comfortable for you. Closing the eyes if you open them, withdrawing that sense of sight for a little longer. Sealing the palms of the hands together in front of your heart, releasing the forehead toward the fingertips, appreciating this body, appreciating this breath and this time. Namaste.